Okay, the first thing, new business, is I'll let Mr. Hurst read what the ordinance are, please.
But we need to have a roll call.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry. Okay, Ms. Tina, roll call.
Mayor Connie Ball, Vice Mayor Mike Profit,
Here.
Alderman Jeff Fancher, Alderman Roger Gribble,
Here.
Alderman Mike Hansel,
Here.
Alderman Bobby Knight,
Here.
City Attorney Terry Hurst,
Here.
City Administrator James Fincham.
Here.
Okay, the next we'll have, I hear you might approve the minutes of the last meeting. Bobby Knight made the motion.
I second those.
Jeff Fancher seconded. Okay, do you need a roll call? Just everybody say aye.
Everybody says
All in
aye.
favor say aye. Aye. Okay. Next thing is
Proclamations.
okay, proclamations in recognition of citizens by the mayor. Don't you have one tonight? Yes, sir.
Ben Hicks, are you here? You and your staff? It's that time again. I have another proclamation to recognize our city employees as we have been for the last few months. This month, we want to recognize the leadership and the workers of the Newport Street Department. Public Works connects us for August 2017. Public Works Month celebrates the vital role Public Works plays in connecting us all together. As the cornerstone of civilization, Public Works provides, maintains, and improves the structures and services that assure a high quality or higher quality of life for our community. Its streets and bridges keep us linked together, and its recycling and sanitation services keep us healthy and allow our communities to grow and prosper. We proudly salute and thank the City of Newport Street and Sanitation Department professionals who work tirelessly every day to strengthen the bond that keeps the City of Newport connected. Whereas Public Works services provided in our community are an integral part of citizens' everyday lives, and whereas the support of and understanding and informed citizenry is vital to the efficient operation of Public Works systems and programs such as street and sanitations. And whereas health, safety, and comfort of this community greatly depends on these facilities and services, and whereas the quality and effectiveness of those facilities, as well as their planning, design, and construction, is vitally dependent upon the effects and skills of Public Works officials. And whereas the efficiency of qualified and dedicated personnel who staff Public Works Department is materially influenced by the people's attitude and understanding of the importance of the work they perform. And now, therefore, Mayor Connie Ball does proclaim that the month of August to be Public Works Months and calls upon all citizens of Newport, Tennessee to recognize the men and women of the Newport Street and Sanitation Department for their service to our community. And this has been witnessed thereof by Mayor Ball, and he has affixed his signature and seal to the City of Newport on the 8th day of August 2017. So on behalf of Mayor Ball and the rest of the Newport City Council, I'd like to present this proclamation to Superintendent Ben Hicks. Thank you.
Act like you like each other.
Turn sideways or, yeah.
Turn sideways.
I wanted to tell you while you was up right to get through the pictures. I tell you this about every week. I appreciate the job y'all do. I'm around town everywhere and I see what's going on, and we compliment everybody sort of from every department. Just, you know that, and you've been over backward to be good to me for a long time before I was ever here. Y'all been good to me, and I just want to tell you how I appreciate the job you do. Thank you.
This is Rick McGann. He's my assistant at the street department. This is Dean Cochran, and he is my assistant with recycling and sanitation. He sees the day-to-day operations there at that. And I just want to thank everybody, all of you, for helping us out with getting new equipment and things out there and helping us try to improve so we can serve the people.
I appreciate you saying that.
Yes, because it's really helping, the equipment you've got us and everything. You guys like saying?
Like I said, I thank y'all for the building that you guys. It sure has made a big improvement with my guys and the community coming in. They really enjoy coming in and seeing it. And I appreciate you all doing that for us.
I've been watching it. You keep it clean, you know, it's, nobody's had the black lung since y'all got to another building over there too. It's really made a big difference in the mold and stuff that's inside your building. And I appreciate y'all keeping it clean, having pride in it too.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Okay. Mr. Fincham, we're ready for communications from the city administrator.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. The first thing on my agenda is just an update on the truck route restriction downtown. Some questions have been asked about when we were going to start enforcing that new rule about no right turn over at Broadway at the coffee shop. And of course, we can't begin enforcing it until the signs go up. Gary checked with the state, and they should be coming up right away. They were kind of waiting to try to do the whole thing at one time, the restriping and all that, and we told them, don't worry about the striping, we want the signs up so we can start enforcing it. So they should have the signs up shortly, and once the signs go up, we can begin enforcing the rule. Now, for a little while, we'll have to give warnings till we give them a little bit of a two-week or 3-week grace period to learn to get the laws in place. But we still can begin enforcing it. And one thing for y'all to be thinking about, and this is the decision I made right now, when the light was changed downtown and they added the turn lane, they changed the loops. Now, the new light systems have the triggers in the ground that are the loops, they so call it, and they cut the groove and they put it down. It's a big cord, and it senses when something is sitting there and causes the light to trigger to turn to accommodate the traffic flow. They said since we're changing the configuration that we may have to take those loops out and put new loops in. Now, that can be expensive, and I think they said it could be anywhere from $2,000 to $18,000 or something. Gary, he talked to them, he got the numbers for me. It was something in that realm, wasn't it, Gary? And so because of that expense, what I said was, let's leave them alone for now and see how it works, and then if it does cause a problem, then we would look at replacing them. But that's just I'd like to see what that does before we change the loops. If it causes a problem, then we may not have a choice, but that's a lot more money to spend if we don't have to. But that's something for y'all to be thinking about and kind of keeping an eye on down there too. But for now, the decision I made on it was let's see how it does and evaluate it, and then if it's not working, then we'll have to look at replacing reconfiguring the loops. But they couldn't give us a hard number. That's a broad range from 1,800 to 18,000, man. It looks to me like they could have narrowed it down a little better than that. But anyway, that's where we are on that. I'd like to request that you all waive the rule and add bids for salt on the agenda for tonight. We hadn't got our salt bids in yet, and Ben checked on them Friday, and he was able to get them. They said that they had been, you've got a copy of them in your package. They said they had emailed them some time back, but they went back through trying to find if they could find where they had been emailed, and they couldn't find an email where they had been sent to us. But regardless, we got them Friday. And Ben would like to go ahead and be able to get his salt store back up to where it needs to be. If not, we'd have to wait till the September meeting to do it, and that could, sometimes if you don't get your order in early, you get put to the back of the line, and it's kind of first come, first served. So if y'all are in agreement, I would like to ask that you add that to the agenda for tonight on the salt bids.
So, Vice Mayor, we need a motion to suspend the rules and add that item to the agenda if the council so desires.
Did I hear a motion for that?
I'll make that motion.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. The final thing that I have, just again, it's just information purposes. The traffic speed monitor for Bright Town is now up. I don't know that it's, yesterday, I didn't get up through there today to look at it, but I think all it likes now is being programmed to go. And of course, I spoke to Ben today. We want to get a speed limit sign underneath it so people can see. Everyone I've ever seen has a speed limit sign underneath it, so you can see what the speed limit is, and then that will show you what you're traveling. And so it will blink. If you're speeding, it will blink to try to catch your attention. So I don't know, I hadn't mentioned to the chief, I don't know if they've got a timeline on when it'll be programmed, but it is up. I saw it on the post up there. It has been put up, so we're moving along.
We intended to program it yesterday, and the weather kept us off, and we just didn't get through today.
Okay, I don't know, Ben went up and looked, because I looked at it yesterday, and I saw there wasn't a speed sign there, and that's when I contacted Ben and asked him to look at it, and he went up today and looked at it, and he's got a plan for getting a speed limit sign, which the speed limit is 40. But we need to get that there so they can see what the limit is and what they're traveling, so they can get it, so they realize this is what you should be going and this is what you are. And hopefully this will have the desired effect to slow people down in that heavily congested area right there where all the fast food places are. That's all I actually have, but I'm now going to call on Chief Reagan. He has some business he'd like to take care of, and I'll turn it over to him.
Donnie, Mark, and Tim. There's firefighters, a lot of them here, and I realize that we're hopefully going to hire a firefighter tonight, but right now this is important to the firefighters that are here right now. Donnie retired as of last Sunday morning. I got up at 6 and had him set the tones off and make sure we woke him up and got him out of the station. So, and then come to find out, he said I was sitting there awake anyway. But Donnie's been with the fire department for 25 years, a little over 25 years. We went to recruit school together in Murfreesboro when it was not near what it is now. The fire department, firefighters become a family, so we get close and tied, and Chief Ramsey's going to do a lot more talking than I am, because I'm not going to be able to talk very long about Donnie. But he's a good friend. Donnie's been our chaplain since the 90s. Chief Roger Butler made him our chaplain. And so he's been an in-house chaplain. He's been a battalion chief for the last 3, 4, 5 years. And it just happens that Donnie's the one that's received, when the tornadoes, Donnie was in charge. When the big motel last year before last caught on fire, Donnie was in charge. So all the big stuff happens to happen to Donnie. So we may be relieved that he's gone. But it's just, Donnie, he's a good friend. He's been a good officer for the fire department. He's been very, very dedicated to you guys and to this town, and we appreciate him. And Chief Ramsey's going to say something while I get this out of the box.
Well, Chief Reagan told me to keep this short, and I will, I promise. Donnie and I were born 2 years apart. We went to different schools together. Moving on. Donnie and I, when he came to the fire department, we knew each other briefly in high school. We never ran in the same circles, but he and I became fast friends at work, and we've done a lot of stuff off duty together. We enjoy traveling a lot together. We've been to a lot of car shows. But above all of that, Donnie has been really dedicated to our citizens and our visitors into our town. He's done an excellent job. It's a leadership role, and our chaplain. And I'm going to miss Donnie tremendously. It's a little more emotional than I thought it would be. His shift is here. And Godspeed, brother. I love you.
Donnie's act says, Chaplain / Battalion Chief Donnie Rowland, the City of Newport thanks you for your faithful service of 25 years, March 24th, 1992 until July 31st, 2017. Donnie, we do appreciate you, the whole family.
Wish I was getting my act. Figuratively, not literally.
You got an axe to
Maybe work
grind?
that out, buddy.
You got an axe to grind?
Okay. Let's do the reports from Tanner.
We got anybody here from the Tanner Building that's got a report? Okay, we'll go to the next one.
Whole business. Whole business. I'll read those
Okay,
ordinances for you.
I'm gonna let Terry read the ordinance for the old business, unfinished business.
Yes, Vice Mayor, this will be the second reading of these ordinances. It's consideration of the second reading of ordinance 2017-13, amending the City of Newport Municipal Code, Title 16, Streets and Sidewalks, etc., adding Chapter 3, requiring owner install sidewalks on site development and new construction along Highway 2570 and Route 321 commerce corridors. Need a motion?
Need a motion and second, Tina?
So moved. Second.
Got a motion and second?
Roll call.
Roll call?
Alderman Jeff Fancher.
Yes, ma'am.
Alderman Roger Gribble.
Yes.
Alderman Mike Hansel.
Yes.
Alderman Bobby Knight.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Mike Profit.
Yes.
And Vice Mayor, the next item is consideration of second reading of ordinance 2017-14, amending the municipal code, Title 14, zoning and land use control, Chapter 1, Municipal Planning Commission, adding Section 107, authorizing the Newport Regional Planning Commission to serve as the Design Review Commission. Motion.
Okay, did I hear a motion to approve that?
So moved. Second.
Got a motion second? Need roll call?
Alderman Jeff Fancher.
Yes, ma'am.
Alderman Roger Gribble.
Yes.
Alderman Mike Hansel.
Yes.
Alderman Bobby Knight.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Mike Profit.
Yes. Okay. New business, consideration of the first reading of ordinances, number 2017-15, amending the City of Newport Municipal Code, titles and alcoholic beverages, Chapter 2, beer, adding Section 2-206, outdoor serving areas, restrictions. Mr. Fincham, do you have a comment about that?
That's Garrett's project, Mr. Vice Mayor. It's, I think he's been talking to y'all about that, and if you
Right.
handed that out,
I just
y'all
know who
look at it.
presented your
And
Gary.
if y'all have any further questions about it, he's talked about it the last couple of meetings and handed out the copies of it for you to look over.
Does anybody got any questions?
Are you on A?
A, yes, sir.
A?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
If there's no discussion, I guess.
There was one thing I didn't understand about that.
For downtown.
The beer board, the ordinance, the beer board.
I don't know that one.
Let me back up. I got,
Talk about it.
Now, this,
Okay, yeah.
this applies to, I have
I'm sorry, I
a couple
flipped
questions.
over an extra page.
Pardon?
This is, I'm sorry, I had flipped over an extra page. This come from the beer board. Mr. Thornton, the chairman of the beer board, was supposed to be here to talk about it. I take it he's not here. This is a recommendation from the beer board to amend the ordinance to allow patio sales of beverages. It would not affect any current businesses that have something in place, but anything forward would have to meet the new rule. And if like an existing business is sold and comes under a new owner, they would have to meet the new rule. But it's to allow fenced-in areas outside where they can serve food and also have alcoholic beverages. It comes specifically from the grease rack. That's who came in with the proposal and asked that it be modified.
Well, you have other questions?
Yes, I have a
Go
question.
ahead.
This applies to beer only because I guess the 40-seat rule
Right, it's the
We
beer
have a
board.
75.
Yeah, this is.
We have a 75
Beer
seat
only.
rule for
Yeah, that's
liquor
right.
sales.
Yes, sir, that's
So there
right.
won't be any liquor served?
No, sir. It's
Or
strict- this-
consumed outside?
Correct.
It's
This is-
beer only?
Yes, sir. It comes strictly from the beer boards. It only applies to beer, yes, sir.
And just for the record, Vice Mayor, do you have further questions?
No.
I'm going to read that ordinance into the record, the title of it. It's ordinance number 2017-15, an ordinance amending the City of Newport Municipal Code Title 8 Alcoholic Beverages, Chapter 2 Beer, adding Section 2-206, outdoor serving area restrictions. And it would be the first reading. We need a motion and a vote.
Okay, I hear a motion, we approve that?
Motion to approve.
I'll second it. Roll call?
Alderman Jeff Fancher.
Yes, ma'am.
Alderman Roger Gribble.
No.
Alderman Mike Hansel.
Yes.
Alderman Bobby Knight.
No.
Vice Mayor Mike Profit.
Yes.
3.
Vice Mayor, the next item is a consideration of resolution 2017-11, adopting a master plan for downtown Newport. Robert.
Just formality at this point, because you gentlemen have been very helpful in the process of getting the master plan formed, and now it's just going to be adopting this resolution so that it sort of is in place and on record. And if we're all gone tomorrow and then someone else comes in and they read about this master plan, they can go get it, and it's been approved by the council, and that is the roadmap we go by. And I'll answer any other questions you might have about it.
What's the circulation going to be on this, on the master plan?
Ask that to me a different way. I'm not sure if I understand what you're asking.
Who all does go to?
It's for us. It can be to anyone. I'm going to send it out to the media once after today, the finished product that we looked at last month, and then once a year, I would say, or every 6 months, meet with a group and come up with any updates or changes that may need to be made to it.
Would it go to, I'm just lost my train of thought. Will it go to existing businesses in the city?
Yes, sir. We plan on the next couple of months having some public meetings to discuss maybe some ideas and ways we can improve downtown, and the business owners will be one of the separate meetings just for the business owners to try and reform the downtown Merchants Association, and it'll be given to them at that time.
We've had input from
Yes, sir.
businesses.
Yes, sir. Anytime I've spoken with like anybody at the coffee shop or anywhere like that, dance studio that the McMahon's own, flower shop over here across the railroad tracks, for example.
Do I need a motion for that?
Yes.
I make a motion, we approve the plan.
Second.
Roll call?
Alderman Jeff Fancher.
Yes, ma'am.
Alderman Roger Gribble.
Yes.
Alderman Mike Hansel.
Yes.
Alderman Bobby Knight.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Mike Profit.
Yes. Okay, the next thing on the agenda is discussion of the traffic light upgrade at Broadway and Lincoln. I'm going to let you, Mr. Fincham, explain that.
Yes, sir. I've included in your packet an email that was forwarded to me from Newport Utilities. I'm sure everyone is aware that the state recently reconfigured the intersection at Lowe's and Cosby Highway. As part of that reconfiguration, they put up a new traffic light. And so the old traffic light that was there belonged to the city of Newport because we paid for it when it was installed. It is currently being stored at NU, and what NU has recommended, and I endorse, I recommend it also to you all, is that we use that new light and replace the current light at Brock's. And because the new light, it's a newer technology, it has LED lights in it, uses much less electricity, the bulbs last much longer, and is more efficient. And so, we've got a new system sitting down there, and this would be the perfect spot for it at Brock's, at Broadway and Lincoln. And so there would be a little bit of expense. They didn't quote a number, but they said there'd be, of course, a little bit of expense to reimburse them for the change out. But over time, it's their estimation that the efficiency of the LED bulbs will reimburse us and save money over time. So it would be my recommendation that we follow NU's recommendation that we allow them to change out those lights.
Can this light be synchronized with the lights downtown?
I really don't know. I don't know about that.
Well, I thought if it could, maybe we should look at the lights downtown that we can't synchronize and maybe replace that with one. If this one can be synchronized with these lights, do that as opposed to putting it up somewhere where it won't need synchronization.
I don't know the answer to that. I do know that the state is going to put up lights that tie in over there. If they can ever get their deadline, meet their deadline, they keep moving it back. It was supposed to be done last year. So the state keeps moving the deadline to install the lights, but they have pledged to install new lights downtown.
I make a motion to put it up there where we talked about. We need a roll call.
We need a second.
We need a second.
Okay, second.
Got a second. New roll call.
Okay, now roll call.
Alderman Jeff Fancher.
Yes, ma'am.
Alderman Roger Gribble.
No, I think we should make that determination before we just stick it up there, whether or not it can be synchronized and place it downtown. We might be 2 more years waiting on the state.
Alderman Mike Hansel.
Yes.
Alderman Bobby Knight.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Mike Profit.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, the next thing on the list, considering on hiring a new firefighter, and I think a couple of us would like to say a few words about that, maybe before we get started. And I'll let you start off, Jeff, and see.
Well, I'll tell you what, I don't know either. I think I know them now. First time I've laid eyes on both these people. But I have never in my life tried to make a decision. Two perfect candidates. You are Patrick, right? And you are, okay. Everybody I've called trying to somebody to sway me one way or the other, I can't come to a decision. I have come to a decision, but it's been hard. I asked a friend of mine who's a judge down in Cleveland, you ever been in a situation where you want to flip a coin and get the 2 people out there and heads it's you, tails it's you? And he said, just many times. So I was about ready to do that. But there's only, before I vote, I know who I'm voting for. I don't have much in this old world, but I do have my word. And that's about all I got. But I committed to a person a long time ago that's gave me no reason to deny voting for this person. But I also want to say, believe it or not, from a high school kid today in my business communication class, there might be a win-win situation for whoever, quote-unquote, finishes second. I talked to the city manager, and I talked to some financial ladies today, and whoever I don't vote, or whoever gets selected, excuse me, I'll say it this way, whoever does not get selected for this fire department job, you and I are going to have a phone call either tonight or tomorrow. There may be a win-win for both of y'all. So that's what my theory is. I also feel that in theory, we're right now, we're 4 firemen short. With the hiring tonight, we'll have 3. Former city council cut out 3 fireman positions. And I don't know, when you drive by there not doing anything, you say, we don't need any fire department. It takes one bail for me to come to my attention. When people go on National Guard, when people go on vacation, to me it puts Chief Reagan in a more perilous position. And I said that to back up to what I'm saying, what I talked to the city manager about. But it's been tough, guys. It's been tough. It really has. It's, I guess that's the reason we get the big bucks, but all $300 of it. But the fact of the matter is, I'm ready to make a decision.
I'd like to make a few comments about that too. I'm sort of like Mr. Fancher. This is really, I really struggle with it because we got two good people. We got people that can do the job, and that's a compliment to you. But as right now, we're just going to be able to hire one. Now, I've never seen two. Usually, we've always taken the number one that scored the highest on all the parts of the test, who was turned in number one. And I've talked to Mr. Reagan, I've talked to Sandy, I've talked to all of the people. I've talked to the attorney for the civil service. I've talked to the civil service people. I've talked to some of you. There's one of them I hadn't got to talk to. But, you know, you've got opinion, they've got opinion, but for every time we have hired so far, we have hired the person that had the highest score. And I feel like sometimes if we don't have the highest score, then people's going to know why now we had to change it for now. But I'm like Mr. Fancher. I feel like if we don't get one of them in there tonight, we can get them started somehow on something, or this comes about, I don't think it'll be very long, but I will fight hard for both of you. But the sad part about it is you can just vote for one person, and whatever that makes, I hope nobody's ever mad, or I know somebody's going to be disappointed. I've been disappointed, and I don't like this process, and we're going to try real hard to charter to get this process changed. So there won't be any questions about things. You will know before. You'll give us, the Civil Service Board will give us the candidate and know from there. Then the next one will be in line, will be the next one to go. So, and I know y'all struggle with it too. Is any of the Civil Service Board or Mr. Reagan, you got anything you'd like to say real quick?
No, because I know it's been a struggle too, but I will say that I do appreciate all of you. I appreciate our Civil Service Board.
I do too.
It is a very difficult situation for them. And it's, Chief Schultz and I talked about it because his hiring process is similar. It was put into place, both of them, to try to keep somebody from just saying, well, I'm going to get this person down here at the police station, the fire station. And it works well in a lot of ways. But I will agree with Coach Prophet. I think there may be some better ways that need to be looked at. But as chief of the department, and speaking hopefully for the department, we do appreciate your efforts. We know that you're in a tough situation. And so were these three men here, Willie and Mr. Calfee and Arthur. So
usually the people who gets first place, usually the civil service has been together with them, you know. I mean, we've worked it out together, but this situation's a little bit different, and it makes it really hard on us because all the pressure starts right back around again. But we're going to have to make a decision. We're going to have to do something to get this out of the way. And the one that don't maybe get elected tonight, we've got another plan that everybody can get on their feet. So if you're interested, let us know. And we need a motion for, what do we have?
Mayor, I would think if there's a conflict with the numbers, that the particular boards in that department need to get their numbers together and figure out who's the correct person.
Today I talked to the civil service lawyer, Jeff Green. Last person I've talked to about this is after school today to ask a clarity of who was number one. He told me that who was number one was decided by the Civil Service Board, and he told me who that person was.
And I was told with that was three other people myself. Even tonight, I've gone through the same thing. And I hate to change something just right in the middle of the stream. It may not be what everybody wants, but I can't hardly change things just for the sake of changing it. But anyway, we will go about this, and whoever don't get it, stick in there with us, and we'll see what we can do. Now, how do you want to do this, Terry?
Somebody needs to make a motion to name somebody.
I make a motion to hire Patrick Sheldon as fireman.
I make a motion, Amanda Reeves.
you want to get Patrick Shelton first or something? Is that what you want?
Well,
How do you want to do it?
we need a second for each name.
Okay.
So, first of
here's-
all, let's take
Second
the
for
first
Patrick
one that
Shelton.
came up first.
Okay.
Alderman Hansel nominated Patrick Shelton.
Right.
Do we have a second for that nomination, I guess?
Do I hear a second for nomination for Patrick Shelton? Okay, I hear none.
So then we need to, and you are nominating Amanda Reeves.
Amanda Reeves.
So do we have a second for that nomination?
Second, Roger.
Yeah.
We got a motion second for Amanda Reeves.
Then we need a roll call.
All right, need roll call.
This would be to hire Amanda Reeves.
Alderman Jeff Fancher.
Yes.
Alderman Roger Gribble.
Yes.
Alderman Mike Hansel.
No.
Alderman Bobby Knight.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Mike Profit.
Yes. All right. Patrick, make sure you see us for something. If we may have something else in mind to try to get you started on something, if we can, okay? If you're interested in it. And I appreciate your attitude about it too. I mean, you were done, this has been the hardest thing I've had to deal with in a long time. But I want to tell you, I appreciate it. All right, man. Is she here?
Amanda, okay, stand up for us, Amanda. Congratulations. I look out to school every day at the Causey Fire Department, and I talk to everyone there, and they come highly recommended. Your work ethic is second to none, and they say you're really the person in charge out there. So congratulations. Make us look good.
I'm happy to tell Amanda I'm glad she got on it, and I like her and Patrick. I'm like my coach. It's been hard this season, but I think it's the best way we can do it. I'll still try to do everything I can to help Patrick.
We got something in mind, Patrick, if we can help you. All right, the next thing on there is consideration of the contract between the E911 and Cotton County and the city of Newport. Mr. Finchie, do you have some words about it?
Yes, sir. As you all know, we contract our dispatch service through the E911 Center at Central Dispatch. Our current contract has expired, and we have a 3-year contract. We have renegotiated another 3-year contract with minimal changes. It's pretty much the same as the prior 3 years, and so we just need to get a new contract in place so we can continue on with what we've had.
I make the motion to accept this contract as written.
Second.
Got a motion second. Roll call.
Alderman Jeff Fancher.
Yes, ma'am.
Alderman Roger Gribble.
Yes.
Alderman Mike Hansel.
Yes.
Alderman Bobby Knight.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Mike Profit.
Yes. Okay, I was up on there. Discussion of Michael Brady contract for renovation to the Tanner building.
If you'll all recall, at the last meeting, or possibly the meeting before, we opened bids for the renovation of the Tanner building, and it came in way over budget. And some of the folks that came into the evaluation at the building and looked at the plans didn't want to bid on it because they said pretty much the same thing that guy said, even though he did enter a bid, was that it could not be done as drawn with that amount of money. There was a lot of things that were put in, they said they didn't feel like needed to be there. There were things left out that had to be there, like a sprinkler system. And so what was pretty much agreed upon in context was that if we could, if we were at a point where we could terminate the contract with Brady and move on and and oversee the construction phase ourselves. That's what we would like to do. The gentleman that they met with that did put the bid in had said that he had people that could do a lot of the stuff that needed to be done. And so we have evaluated the contract. There were 3 phases to the contract. We have finished 2 phases, and those have been paid for. The only phase remaining excuse me, is the construction phase. And so in the contract, it says that we can terminate the contract with 30 days' notice. And so if it's y'all's pleasure, we'll give them notification of 30 days' notice that we're going to do the construction phase ourselves and not have them to oversee the construction phase.
We already talked about that anyway.
What are you doing? Are we going to do a management contract? I don't understand what you're getting at. We, meaning who? The city's going to manage the construction?
The city can look at other options. The city, I mean, we can look at hiring somebody, whatever y'all want to do. Right now, if we stick with the contract, it's under Brady. And so what was discussed at that meeting, the call meeting where we had the bids, was that because of what was said by these contractors, that we wanted to look at taking a different option. And that was to take them out of being in charge of the construction phase and looking at other options for someone else to be in charge of the construction that could do some modifications that would be more efficient financially.
So we're going to terminate the request for bids on the contract that we put out?
No, we are canceling the contract, the portion of the contract that puts Brady in charge of construction.
They're the architect.
What?
Brady's the architect.
Yeah.
Brady drew up the blueprints.
Right.
And
we're not using, I thought we'd already decided we weren't going to use him. We was going to have the plans redrawn, because you can't construct something that's never been drawn yet. Well, unless you're going to do
what was said was, that wasn't on the agenda, we couldn't vote on it. And what was said was we were to research it and to make sure we could do it, and that's what I'm reporting back, that we have researched it and we can do it.
We can do what?
Terminate the contract.
His portion of the contract.
The construction portion of the contract.
Then who's going to manage the construction? Who's going to construct it?
Well, we haven't decided that yet.
Okay. So all
that will be up to you all to decide.
Terminate the contract with the architect.
Well, this is what you all said you wanted to do. So we have done it, but you have to vote on it. So, I mean, it's your pleasure, whatever you want to do. But this is what you all said you wanted to do.
Well, that's what I was trying to figure out. Is that all we're doing, is terminating the contract with the architect?
Yes.
And then, so we're not going to manage it ourselves?
No, we're going to find somebody to do that other than Brady.
Sorry I'm doing this for you. We still have over $500,000 in grants out. $250,000 of that is federal. I'm going to assume they will want us to rebid the project, so that whoever we end up rebidding, and hopefully we'll have more than one bid this time, that they will manage. I would imagine, I'm not saying that's how it will go, but that's more than likely who will manage the construction, is whoever we hire to do the construction.
This time put the 250 that Jeremy Faison got for us in jeopardy because of the time
No,
frame.
just so we keep it, they said, as long as we show progress.
And we've paid for the engineering, so up until this point, we have encumbered something that is progress in their eyes.
Okay, did I hear a motion that we accept, do without Michael Brady's contract?
I'll make that motion.
Second.
We've got a motion and a second. Okay, roll call, Ms. Tina.
Alderman Jeff Fancher.
Yes.
Alderman Roger Gribble.
Yes, for termination of that contract.
Alderman Mike Hansel.
Yes.
Alderman Bobby Knight.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Mike Profit.
Yes. Okay, the next thing is consideration of request to close Kirk Street from East Tennessee Baptist Association from the East Tennessee Baptist Association for the Legacy of the Smoky Mountain Community Events and Michael Combs concert. They just wanted to close it for a few minutes, didn't it, James? That's all it was. Okay, you got some people.
Yeah, it would actually be from noon until 6:30. It's just a small section there between Food City and Circle Drive. There's no homes there or anything, and we just want to have a space for our children to be able to cross the street. It's just a family-friendly event highlighting this year's J. Harold Smith. We give you a flyer about it and would like to invite your families to come out, and we appreciate you considering closing that for us.
Nobody's had any problem with it, have they?
I've had no comments on it.
I make a motion that we consider closing Kirk Street on September 16th, 2017 from 12 to 6:30 p.m.
Second.
Need a roll call, man? Okay, roll call, please.
Alderman Jeff Fancher.
Yes.
Alderman Roger Gribble.
Yes.
Alderman Mike Hansel.
Yes.
Alderman Bobby Knight.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Mike Profit.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, the next thing on the agenda, discussion of the animal shelter update. Alderman Jeff Fancher.
All right, folks, good afternoon. I'll try to be brief. First of all, our temporary animal shelter is up and running. From what I know, I've been told it's running efficiently and very, very smoothly. I'll say to you, I still hope that we can reach a accord with the people across the railroad tracks, our county brethren, to make this thing work to go into one facility. Newport is too small, even though yet big, to not be under one facility. But my input today is this. I have been in conversation for the last 7 weeks, and I was kind of waiting till, you may have noticed about 2 Sundays ago, there was an article in the Knoxville paper about a rolling rescue collaborative called Go North. And Go North, they have been in operation for quite a long time, and for what I was told by their founder and operator, Carmen Trammell, that they at one time operated under helping Newport Animal Shelter out until our own rolling rescue came to become a reality. I wanted to wait until this article came out in the Knoxville News Sentinel. You may or may not have seen it, but I've been talking with Carmen for the last 7 weeks. Also been in contact with a guy over in Oak Ridge by the name of Brian Porter. Oak Ridge went through the same thing we've been to. Oak Ridge has got their own facility now, and Anderson County's got their own facility. Brian has given me a lot of input and a thumbs up for this Go North. Go North, they basically take dogs only, and I'm going to get all this packet to my brethren here on the city council, but these are the requirements they ask for the dogs. Vaccinations, distemper, for parvo, bortella, and rabies, internal parasite control, external parasite control, safer test, basically a screening for sociability and lack of aggression, health certification by a veterinarian, and general hygiene. Ms. Trammell went on to tell me that the northern destinations, and they go to 3 states, Wisconsin, Illinois, if my memory serves me correct, and Wisconsin, come on Jeff, where's the other one at? Long story short, they go to 3 states and they run. I've got a calendar of when they run and when they pick up animals and the whole 9 yards. Pardon me for not knowing those 3 states off the top of my head. Her words are, the northern destinations will take dogs with quote-unquote imperfections, but they won't take a pig in the poke. They want a veterinarian's evaluation of conditions such as hair loss to rule out mange, lumps and bumps to rule out potential cancers, and limbs to rule out conditions that are going to require surgery. If a dog is a senior, they want a veterinarian's evaluations of teeth to rule out the need for immediate dental cleaning and extractions. People often say, and this is Ms. Trammell speaking, this dog just needs someone to work with it. The Northerners don't want projects. They want dogs that can go to their adoption floors, in particular. They don't want unsocialized, fearful dogs, dogs that are aggressive, dogs with separation anxiety, and dogs that cannot walk on a leash for obvious reasons. Mrs. Carmen Trammell will come and speak to our group if we need to. I want to, we don't have to put this in the form of a proposal or anything like that, but I've got all the paperwork that's available to anybody who wants to see it. These folks, Ms. Carmen Trammell, her goal is to put animals in safe, lovable homes. And I'm going to, it's not in the form of a motion, but I'm going to share with these guys here and to see if we can work with Go North. I'll get Ms. Carmen Trammell down here to speak, each of us as a group. But they take the dogs up there in a brand-new Mercedes van. I mean, I'd like to go on vacation in that van. I saw her take those dogs in. They work with about 20 counties. And to me, they're about as legit as you can. And our goal now, my goal now, since I've taken this bull by the horn, is to try to find a veterinarian that will cooperate with us to, unfortunately, we lost Dr. Carol Hood. Find a veterinarian that will work with us as a, number one, a veterinarian, number two, a corporate citizen, to make this thing work on a cost efficient way. So if you guys don't care, that's all I've got to say about this, and I will get this packet to you as soon as possible.
Be fine. Thank you for what you've done, Jeff, taking your time to try to get this thing settled, maybe getting the city and the county to come together on some type of agreement to get this done. What's the next thing on the agenda?
Mike, I'd like to make on this. I thought we were trying to get out of the animal shelter business from the start. And it looks to me like we're getting more into the animal shelter business. We got this pound up the street here. It's not really a shelter. It has no outside run or anything else. It's very limited in what it can do. It's blocking the street where it's located. I thought it was going to be a temporary thing. Well, you're talking, it's starting to be a permanent thing down there.
I'm glad you said that, because one of the things I wrote down there is our temporary animal shelter. I'm with you. I don't want it there. I want us to get back in accord with the county. And right now, I wasn't there last night, you were. I think they're farthest from the east to west to getting the budget done. From what I know, talking to Mr. Fincham, that thing is working efficiently. Yeah, I didn't want to get, you're right, I didn't want to be in the animal shelter business. But temporarily, I think we got a good thing going. Right now, we have how many dogs in our, and how many animals?
Well, we just got out of the animal shelter.
I know.
We were running an animal shelter with $1 million building.
Yeah, we
buildings
were.
in it.
You're right.
We were.
You're right.
The city.
We were.
And now we're getting right back in it again. And I don't think that's where we want to go with this.
Well, I think
we've got a group out there that's willing to work with us. They're willing to work with the county. They've got the property, they've got the building, they've got 2 vans. Now here we're going to get into a business where we're going to be transporting 40 dogs. We're going to be preparing them for transport. And we don't have a facility down there on the corner. That's not going to be a facility that can be an animal shelter, because it's greatly lacking. And
that's true.
So, we're getting ourselves in a bigger mess when we've got some people that want to operate an animal shelter. I tell you, when we operated it, I mean, you can look at the pictures out there. It was in horrible condition. And they've improved it greatly. They've got a business plan. They're wanting to hire a manager as soon as the city and the county can decide whether we're going to put money in it. But at the same time, we're still spending money, wasting money, going through this process.
I think when the dust settles, I'm sorry, are you through, sir?
Pardon?
Are you through?
Yes.
Okay. I think when the dust settles, I think the city of Newport is going to be saving a lot of money. I really do believe that. And I agree with you. But you were there last night apparently at the COB.
Yes,
I don't think they're nowhere close. I'm not saying that to knock the county. They're nowhere close to getting a budget. And I'm sitting there waiting. Even if we both get $100,000 apiece, that's still not fair, but at least that's workable. I'm not saying no, but to me, our conversation needs to be, we hope they can get their budget together and pass it so we can collaborate and make this thing work.
Yeah.
I don't want to be an animal shelter.
This was just a short term.
We've got a good opportunity here to get out of it, but we're getting in it deeper. I mean, we've spent all this money down the street here. I can't figure out exactly how much we spent. I'm sure somebody knows, but I don't. But we're getting in it deeper and deeper when we're starting considering transporting dogs and all of that.
They don't charge us
a
any
dog
money,
down
by
there
the way.
like we can hold them at an animal shelter that we already have here. Yeah. But I thought the idea was we was going to turn over the animal shelter to be run by somebody else, not to get back into another animal shelter that a business that none of us want to be in.
I don't want to be in it until they get everything straightened out across the
We
street.
just didn't have a
no
choice to do
The
something.
city-
By the way, the Go
We can do
North
what
charges
we can
nothing.
do.
Go North charges $0 to take a dog up north. Nothing,
But they're
zero.
making money, that's why. They're not
More
doing it
power
for
to
that.
them. That Rolling
Well,
Rescue was making money too, sir.
Yes, we were, and they were putting it back in the cities too. Putting the cities.
You all are rehashing the same stuff over and over. If they were willing to work with us, we wouldn't be in a situation.
That's
we're
not
in right
true.
now.
I
Yes,
don't
it is.
agree with that. We were as unwilling to work with them as they were us. We were the one that terminated the agreement, not them.
Let's move on here just a little bit. We've discussed it and we'll discuss it again. Roger, you've got the floor for the next one, recommendation of I think y'all had already worked that out, but you tell.
Pardon?
I think you'd already done.
We got it.
On the joint task force.
Right.
Okay, so we're moving on.
Yes.
Okay. I talked with Maurice about that, and for a number of reasons, I'm going to withdraw that recommendation. They had a good bus. It was a joint effort between the FBI, TBI, city, and county, and it went off real well. So I don't want to force people into a situation that they don't want to be in, the city or the county. And my recommendation was going to be for a task force, but I'm willing to back off of that now, and I hope the city and county can continue to work together, because we have a real problem in the city of Newport, we have a real problem in the county, and we have a real problem in the state with drugs. I mean, you could...
Mr. Gribble.
Yeah.
I truly appreciate your concern, and you and I had a great conversation the other day.
Yeah.
I would let you know that the United States Attorney's Office has just appointed a special prosecutor to look into the pill mills and the doctor shopping and the medical fraud. So that's just one more asset that we're going to have access to. And I assure you, I can't stand here and tell you what's going on, you as the board, as the public. But I assure you that we have people in place that are making an effort to try to make a dent in this thing. I'm not going to be unrealistic and tell you we're going to win this war. But I've told one of my friends one time before, I just want to fight as long as we see light at the end of the tunnel.
Well, I agree with you, and that's why I'm backing off on this particular recommendation.
Appreciate what you
I think
do.
you're doing everything you can, and if it works better the way it is, that's all I want. And so I thank you for your openness with me, and I appreciate the conversation.
Thank you and all you policemen. We're reading the paper every day, what y'all do and what you're going through with. We really appreciate it. Roger, you've got the next one there, Jay, too.
That's regarding the mobile home that was moved into Richland Park, a double-wide factory constructed, what you want to call it. It meets the requirements of the code. It's going to be on a solid foundation. But I think we should have been more open with the people of Richland Park before we approved that. That's the first double-wide manufactured home that's moved into Richland Park subdivision. Now, I was of the impression, as most of the people that I've talked to in Richland Park, and I've talked to a number of them, they were under the impression that they had a restriction and they would stop that. But what the restriction should have said on-site construction as opposed to just construction. I know a subdivision, the city can't limit what comes into a subdivision, but the subdivision as a whole can. And that's an avenue they're going to have to pursue. But, it caught them by surprise. And, if we had said, if we're all part of the city, if we had just explained to them that, look, guys, there is a statewide ruling that you can't do that. If we explained that to people when they came to us and told them, there's restrictions. The restrictions on a subdivision has to be placed by the subdivision. They can't be placed by city, municipality, or I guess the county. And but we needed a little more explanation, and people needed to know that before it showed up on them. And also I was told that the other side of the road in Richland Park from the subdivision is also part of the Richland Park subdivision. And if that's so, we got a real problem, because there's tons of mobile homes manufactured homes that are not in compliance with the restriction for that particular subdivision, if they are, in fact, part of the Richland Park subdivision. And I think, one, we need to get it straightened out. I think also, when we have something that comes up that's going to really change the nature of the subdivision, then we should make people aware of it and give them an opportunity to appeal, if there is any appeal. I assume they could take it to the planning commission, and if they're not happy there, they can come to the council.
Then the planning commission approve that other one, the Dan Hawk and them?
No, I don't think that came before the planning commission. That was just a permit. The state issued a permit to move the structure, and Mark issued a permit. I don't know that anything went before the planning commission on it.
No, it didn't.
It's legal, where it is, it's legal, right?
Yes, the state law, it's within the rules of state law.
Mr. Carver, you have something to say?
Restrictions by the subdivision to prevent it.
And that has to be enforced by the subdivision. That's a civil issue.
So they would have to, the subdivision would have to take, could they appeal that to the planning commission and back to the council? Or does it need to be appealed to, does it need to go directly to the court?
Now, my guess, now Terry's the attorney, my guess is it'd have to go to the court, but that Terry's your attorney.
If the property owners thought the city wasn't enforcing their codes properly, they could come to the city and ask us to correct the situation, and if the city didn't, then obviously they would have the right to go to court. But to enforce, Mr. Fincham's right, to enforce the subdivision regulations, that's up to the individual property owners to do that. The city would have no right to sue or anyone for violating the subdivision regulation.
And nothing came before the planning commission because it was allowed per the zoning, so, it just happened.
They didn't need permission from the planning commission. But it's legal. They complied with all the zoning.
Well, I think it was in the intent of the subdivision. We're talking about back in 1960.
Right.
The intent of the subdivision was to have constructed homes. The part they left out in that was on site.
Sure.
Exactly. And those two words. And if they'd had that, it would have been a whole different thing. But I think we should have, as codes enforcement and as a planning commission, as a city council, we should have had some review taken of something that was that close of a call before we issued a permit for that. I just don't think we should blindside people like this, folks. Just not right.
Well, of course, I understand, but I'm not sure how that's to happen. When a person comes and applies for the building permit, it's not Mr. Robinson. I think he's on vacation, and then I don't mean to be talking for him, but it's not his job. His job is to comply with the city ordinances, which is exactly what he did. The gentleman complied with the ordinance.
Some things Mr. Robinson refers to the planning commission's other, he doesn't. That's personal choice. And I think we should have some things where we could have some transparency in notifying people. That's all I'm saying. That finishes me.
I'd like to have a little, say something on that.
Could you wait till you'll have 5 minutes to end, we just got 2 or 3 more things.
That's no problem.
And you'll have a timer of 10. We'll make sure you get recognized.
I hope you do.
We'll do it. All right, next thing, bids and purchase expenses. Mr. Fincham, I'll let you explain that. Placement of purchase of the equipment from the mayor's office here.
In the heating and air system that's in this building that was put in 2006 when the building was renovated, each office space has its own unit in the ceiling. Now, this was not done by Johnson Control because it was a fairly new system. When Johnson Control came through, they did not do anything with this. This is the system that was put in place in 2006 with the renovation. And what we have gotten into recently is in the last year or two, we've started to see these things fail. And so currently, the one that goes into the mayor's office has failed, and there is no air conditioning in the mayor's office. And so we would just like permission to move forward and accept the bid and try to get the mayor's air back up and running.
I make a motion to accept the bid from Train, Knoxville, to put the air conditioning unit in the office.
Is that the only bid we had?
Yes.
Or is it a state contract? What are we doing?
Well, Tina can explain, it. She's the one that deals with them, she can explain it better than I can.
It's a train unit, and that is the authorized repairman for that train in this area. So we don't have a lot of choices on going out.
Oh, we're just repairing a unit, we're not replacing it.
No, it's just replacing one unit that's in the city.
We are replacing, but it's the one system, it's not, like I
Every
said.
not
room's
the
got a
system.
separate, every room's got a
It's
separate.
a controller.
I've never encountered one like what we have here, where every office has its own unit.
You had a motion, we got a motion and a second, we need a roll call.
Who was the second?
Mike Hanson.
Okay, thank you. No.
He didn't say anything.
Bobby.
Bobby did.
Okay. All right.
Some of them have come in under 5,000, and so this one was over 5, so we had to bring it to you.
Roll call?
Alderman Jeff Fancher.
Ma'am.
Alderman Roger Gribble.
Yes.
Alderman Mike Hansel.
Yes.
Alderman Bobby Knight.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Mike Profit.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. I'm sure the mayor will thank you.
Okay, the next one, consideration of bid for railroad crossing at Mims and Main. Could you explain that, Mr. Finger?
Gary.
Okay, Gary.
This is for the project that is going to be funded by TDOT and the railroad at 100%. We just have to pay up front, and that's sort of where we're having the issue at. We only had one bid, shocking, for one of our projects, and it was almost $100,000 over what the engineers estimated. So we would have to do a budget amendment, but of course it does come back in. And did we get the email in
The email is in their package.
Yeah, that does confirm that the state will cover the difference in the bid. So, but you guys will have to approve the bid, and eventually we'll have to do a budget amendment.
Yes. It's approximately 82,000 over bid.
Yes, original was 231, it came in at 313. But Mr. Gribble, I think I have made headway on it being not just the silver galvanized. I think we're going to get either green or black on the poles.
We've been pushing hard, begging, basically,
Yeah.
to do that.
Okay, that's great progress. We can get a black one up there. You know, I like painted poles. They just look so much better than aluminum. So, but anyway, appreciate it.
You just got to be a little aggressive and a little kind. A little bit of both.
What's the time frame to get? What's the time frame to get this thing started?
As long as we approve the, I think, what is it, the second, it'd be the 1st September when construction would start, and I think it was an 8-week project.
It was 8-week project?
8 week, yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, we need a motion, don't we, Ms. Tina?
Yes.
So moved. Second.
Got a motion and a second, roll call. Did you get that, Jeff, second?
Yeah.
Sometimes we go a little swift for you.
Yeah. Alderman Jeff Fancher.
Yes.
Alderman Roger Gribble.
Yes.
Alderman Mike Hansel.
Yes.
Alderman Bobby Knight.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Mike Profit.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, John.
Okay, I'm gonna read this off, and then I'll let Mr. Maurice explain it just a bit. Consideration bid for a vehicle for the police department. You explain the whole story of that.
This is just to purchase a police car through the drug fund. These are monies that are seized or from fines from the courts. It is the same contract through the same dealership, be equipped exactly like our patrol cars we have now. The only difference is it'll be funded through the drug fund, and it will be a lease purchase agreement.
Yes.
And also, just for the record, not just to add to the chief's comments, this is for the Dyer officer, the school resource officer, his vehicle just got worn out. We repaired it where it was causing too much to keep it rolling. And so, since it is used for drug education and can be used for other things drug related, we can use the funds out of the drug fund to pay for it, and that way no taxpayer monies will be involved.
Do we need a motion on that?
Will it be labeled the DARE program?
What we're going to do, we're going to market it exactly like a police car. We're not going to go out here and put flyers and all this other stuff on it. But the window, we're going to dedicate the glass in it for DARE and the drug resistance education. So it'll be, obviously, it'll show that it is a SRO and DARE vehicle.
Yes, sir.
So moved.
Second.
We got a motion second, roll call.
Alderman Jeff Fancher.
Yes, ma'am.
Alderman Roger Gribble.
Yes.
Alderman Mike Hansel.
Yes.
Alderman Bobby Knight.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Mike Profit.
Yes. The next thing, since it's on the bottom of the list for the salt,
Yes, sir, we added that, yes, sir.
right.
As I spoke earlier, it was in your packet in the front, and Ben can explain it more, but, we join with all these other cities every year to try to get the best deal we can on salt, and I think it's actually $1 and something cheaper a ton this year than it was last year.
$1.51 cheap.
Per ton, yes, sir.
They're the ones that we used last year, got been serviced out of.
Need a motion.
Is there any way, Ben, we could go in with these other cities that's getting a lot better price than we are and get them to buy some extras back from them? Or is that
Possible that we can do that, and go through them and try to win, but we're all in a group together. And
I guess the more you buy, the cheaper it is. Is that the deal?
Let's get this tonight, Ben, that's what you need, right?
yeah.
Okay, need a motion?
I make a motion, we go with it.
The motion, I hear a second. I'll second it. Okay, roll call, Tina.
Alderman Jeff Fancher.
Yes.
Alderman Roger Gribble.
Yes.
Alderman Mike Hansel.
Yes.
Alderman Bobby Knight.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Mike Profit.
Yes. Before we get to comments from the citizens, I've got a little something I'd like to just go over just a little bit. Something that's been bothering me a little bit, about people questioning the transparency for our budget process. And like I told, as we go through this, I don't expect all the aldermen to agree. We all love each other, I reckon. I do, I don't know how they do. But you can't vote both ways. Just like tonight, we had two good people, two things going, but you can just vote one way. And a lot of times, you have to understand that. It's more like one of these things that the county's going through with. You're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't. But I do have a problem with somebody questioning the transparency of the budget process without telling some facts about it. Here's some facts that, for people to say they don't know about our budget process or not got to see it or anything, I'm just going to read out a few facts with it. We had 62 days to look at the budget before it was ever, at the time we received it. And then on April 11th, we had a revised budget package. On April 18th, we had a workshop. The auditors were here. And some chose to go inside and listen to what was said, and some chose not to. On May the 15th, we had a first reading of the budget. And June 13th, we had a public hearing and second reading for the budget. And the way this is done, somebody says they don't know what the departments are doing. If I say something wrong, Miss Tina, you correct me. Every department head, you go over all this stuff with them 2 or 3 times, is that correct?
Yes.
They don't need to go to the alderman to find out answers, they go to you. And then, if they've got a question, they can ask one, but that's, for the budget process, you're the person to see. And you go over this at least 3 times with every department.
Tina goes over it twice, and then I go over it with them once.
Okay, she said sometimes if it wasn't satisfied with 2, she had to go 3.
No, well, yeah, but finally, I go
Right, you're in, I was gonna get to you next.
I'm sorry.
Then I said, the time all this, I said, Tina, James, the mayor, and everybody asked for any questions on our budget. And some chose to ask, some people come talk to you and some people don't. Is that correct, Tina?
Yes.
Some people's got questions, they talk. If they want to know something, you can find out something. All right? Anyway, Tina does a real good job with that. I'm very pleased with what I see out of her. She don't just give everything. And then when the department head comes before us, we brag on them every week. We bragged on them tonight. We bragged on them back to Blue a few days ago. We bragged, on the street department stuff today. The recreation department, everything, the fire department, well, people, if you brag on stuff and, they thanked us for letting them get some equipment, the city sort of went through 15 years of neglect, and that's not putting the blame on anybody. because you can look at this either, which way you want to. But people didn't want to come in here seeing 5-gallon buckets all around your city hall and seeing trucks that rusted down from your street department and all the equipment that's worn out. We were spending a lot more money repairing equipment than we was if we just bought some. I think the city's about to get back on its feet now. It's taken a lot of sacrificing from a lot of people. And I don't think that people gripes quite as much if they know sort of what their tax money's going for. I don't want to think that we're sitting and wasting money. These are the things so far that has been brought and paid for this year that catching up. If anybody would like to see it, Tina does a real good job on keeping up with that stuff. I just don't want to have people, you either raise taxes, either don't. The county's going through it right now a little bit. And the reason it probably affects us because everybody here pays city and county tax both too. So, but anyway, sometime or another, you have to come along and get some things straightened up. Okay, the last thing before I want to say is there's no saying I was reading in a book, and I thought this affected our city council quite a bit. It says it takes all of us to make a difference, and it takes each of us to make a difference for all of us. Whether we agree on things, whether we don't agree on things, we have to come together and do the best you can to make a decision that you feel like that you can live with, and I think that's what we do, however things are. But whatever it is, I'd like for us to try to stick together, stay together, do the best we can, and see how it was. But for transparency, the transparency is there. Thank you for letting me say those few words, Mr. Wiley.
I'd like to add to it. Next meeting, I'll ask if that goes on the budget, Mike. You're pointing your finger at me about things I said in an open meeting. I continue to believe those, and I'll be glad to share with you why I believe it. But I won't go into that tonight because we've gone on. But you, as a mayor, you added that into the budget. You added that on the agenda, made that speech. I just want the right to next month, have the same right to refute what you're saying. This is getting a little ridiculous, Mike.
Well, that's what we're feeling like too, while you made comments about us.
Well, I sure made them.
I know you did. I know you did.
James said that he met with every one of y'all, separately or together. Individually, that's what you said. Every one of them you met with, but me. And so, you go on and on about this, and there's no transparency. Give me a break. Whatever proof you've got, bring it. Well, bring it. Okay, I will. Go for it. I'm sorry. My goodness.
Okay, right now, that's through with it now. Okay, Mr. Wiley, you got citizens. You got 5 minutes, Mr. Wiley.
5 minutes. I'll try to be as brief as possible. I represent the property owners of the Richland Park subdivision. Roger's pretty much stated the case as far as what happened last week before last. Neighborhood pretty much in the uproar. Everybody says I thought we had restrictions on mobile homes in our subdivision, and I thought so too. So I called Mr. Robinson, and he and I had about an hour conversation. Pretty cordial times and pretty not cordial at times. And I want to know how this new owners of the Rival Thomas property was able to put a double wide trailer on the property. And he told me, he said, well, you can put a double wide on any lot in the city, no problem. I said, even though there's restrictions? He said, unless you have it in my verbiage or the proper wording in your restrictions and conditions, then yeah, you're right. So I went to register deeds like an ordinary citizen, and I pulled the record on my property, pulled the record on the property in question, took property on all streets, and it read the codes, had 4 codes. When you pull your deed up, you will not see these restrictions on your warranty deed. It will say, refer to deed book so-and-so, 77 in my case, page 456. Each property has a different
deed book, or it might be in my same deed book, but you go and then you will find the stipulations. And in our case, there were only 4. The first one said, no building shall be placed on property except on a solid foundation. The outside walls will be weatherboarded or better with approved roofing. Residence houses will be 920 square feet inside floor space or more. Back in 1956, when this was brought up or adopted, where it got adopted, whether through city council or not, that's what I'm here to sort of talk about tonight. It says no outside toilets will be placed on said lot. No swine shall be housed or fed on said property. No livestock or fowl shall be permitted to run at large on property. And then the number 3, it says the building shall be placed within 35 feet of the street property. And no building shall be erected within 10 feet of the adjoining property line. Number 4, so this property is restricted and zoned for the use of residence, church, school, or county or municipal purposes. And so I'm going to eat a little crow when Mr. Robinson comes back, because he's exactly right. We didn't have any wording in this right here. Hadn't been changed over the years and years. I've lived over there for 31 years, and this is the first time I ever had a problem. And it wasn't just my problem. People here representing Richmond Park, please stand. This is just a few. Everybody told me that with coming to be here, you wouldn't have enough room. Okay?
What street's that on?
The street in question is at the corner of Rankin Road and Seahorn Drive. It's the Rubel Thomas's estate. It sold at auction. Got no problem with that. Got no problem with the people that put the double wide on the problem. They went by the code. They are not in violation. They come over, dug a foundation, laid a footer, and I thought they were going to build a house. I didn't even know who owned the property until I went to the courthouse. It didn't matter to me. And they have done exactly what up to code, what they're supposed to.
Mr. Wiley, I appreciate you being able to come, you even apologized and said you when you found out. That took a man to do that too, and I appreciate it.
Well, I mean, that's right's right.
I appreciate it.
My daddy was George Leon Wiley. That's the way he raised me, and that's the way you better be raising your families coming henceforth. Right. Okay?
Amen.
So I got a petition together, and this is my wording, if it's in error or whatever, and I got to present it to the council. What we would like for you to do, I had a boss one time tell me, don't bring me a problem unless you also bring me a solution. So I have written a solution here for the problem. What we, the property owners, expect city council to do, until you tell us different, is to adopt this number 5 restriction code, have it added to the deeds books that are applicable to this subdivision, and the third thing is to enforce this thereafter. That's the key thing, enforce it thereafter. Too many times go by here that's not enforced. You got it there, and it's not enforced. Our problem, we didn't have the proper wording, but I'm giving you, Vice Mayor, a copy of the petition. It's 66 voters, property owners on that. I'll give you councilman.
Take care of my cuz back there.
The copy of the amendment that we want to, and you, Terry. I have to save one for myself, so y'all find that. I will read the amendment that we want to put in and make it number 5 in the codes, the condition and restrictions within the Richmond Park subdivision. And it says, as of August the 8th, 2017, the reason I dated it, if we hash this around and filibuster it, and we have to go here, yonder, and there, what we're trying to do is prevent this problem from happening again. We don't have to go through this. And by putting that date in there, it makes it retroactive. Okay? Resident houses must be constructed on site of any property covered by the conditions and restrictions of the Richland Park subdivision, blank. And that's what we request, and we're waiting eagerly for an answer. Thank you.
Now, hear a motion, the meeting adjourned. Does anybody else want to speak? Okay.
Yes, Coach, please. I feel like every time I walk up here, I'm thanking everybody for that, but I mean it. We really do appreciate the resources that you guys give us to do our jobs at the fire department. And there's a brand-new pumper out here that was voted to buy by these guys with all our money, and it's sitting here for you guys to view, look at, watch. It just came in last Thursday. It took over a year to build this, so they built it from the ground up. Every piece is as far as the body and all, it's all built from the ground up, and we feel like that it was money well spent. So you're welcome to come and look at the city's new fire truck. Thank you.
Anybody else? Okay, Mr. Lehman?
I just want to let everybody know, we was in no way, we was just going by the restrictions. We doing what would the restrictions say. We was in no way meaning to try to slip anything in on nobody. That's what the restrictions on the property said, so that's what we decided to put on. The house is going, whenever it's going to be done, it'll look as good, if not better, than probably 75% of the houses in the area. We're going to put a whole new siding on it. We're going to put a new roof on it. We're going to put a front porch on it. It's all going to be, it's going to look just like a solid stick-built house that's, you won't be able to tell no difference that it being a stick-built house than a mobile home. There will be no way you can tell any difference from the exterior perimeter of it. So I just want to let everybody know that.
I want you to understand our position. We want our property values to remain at, regardless of where it's, when it's a prefab home goes in the residential section, the property values go down.
I disagree, but that's your opinion, that's mine, so.
Anyway, that's what we're trying to be.
Mr. Lehman, I appreciate what you and your family does for our community too. I appreciate everybody's part of this. We'll work this out. Appreciate it. Anybody else? I make a motion, the meeting be adjourned.
Second.
Got a motion, second. All in favor, say aye. Aye.